Forgiving too quickly seems nice, right? It seems like a sign of maturity, of inner peace, of someone who doesn't hold a grudge. But is it really? Is this strength, or just another disguised form of emotional weakness? First of all, let's bring some truths to the table. Emotional wounds, broken trust, accumulated resentment, shaken self-esteem, fear of confrontation, toxic relationships, forced regret, emotional abuse, empty apologies, and emotional deprivation. These 10 words sum up what happens when we forgive without thinking, without digesting, without healing. Have you ever noticed how society romanticizes quick forgiveness? Oh, but he already apologized. So what? Since when does saying I'm sorry fix everything? The truth is that there are people who specialize in asking for forgiveness without ever changing. People who apologize, and do it again and again because they know you're nice, that you don't hold grudges, that you have this habit of letting go of everything too quickly. But do you know what the real problem is? It's that when you forgive too soon, you skip the most important part, the pain. Yes, it exists. Yes, it needs to be felt. Pretending it didn't hurt doesn't make you strong. It only makes you a hoarder of trauma. While you're covering up, the other person walks all over you, and then you start living in a relationship where mistakes are cheap and forgiveness is free. Do you know what that builds? Nothing. Just another pile of disappointments that will slowly suffocate you. And the worst part, you will continue smiling on the outside and imploding on the inside, saying that everything is fine, while dying of rage every time you remember what you swallowed. There are people who confuse love with submission, who think that being understanding means saying yes even to those who don't deserve it. But tell me one thing, who taught you that in order to be loved, you need to accept everything without question? That you have to forgive immediately, even when the pain hasn't even cooled yet? I'm not saying that you have to become a spiteful person who never forgives anyone, but maybe what you need is time, a breather, space to understand what happened, to see the intention behind the mistake. Because not every "I didn't mean to" is innocent, and not every "I'm sorry" comes with true remorse. Forgiving too quickly is like sweeping the dirt under the rug. You pretend the house is clean, but the accumulation remains. Eventually it will stink. Eventually it will explode. Now answer me. How many times have you forgiven someone just to avoid losing them, and in the end, ended up losing yourself? Forgiving too quickly is the quickest shortcut to repeating the same pain. The truth is that when we forgive on impulse, in an attempt to keep the mood light or the other person close, we are not being mature. We are being conditioned to believe that loving is synonymous with swallowing a frog, that maintaining a relationship means accepting anything as long as the other person is still there, as if presence were more important than respect. And then the trap begins. Because the person who made the mistake realizes that the damage had no real consequences. They hurt you, you cried, and the next day, everything was resolved. They barely had time to feel guilty. They didn't have to prove remorse. They didn't have to earn back your trust. It was just another episode, as if the pain you felt wasn't that deep. And little by little, this person starts to think they can do it again. And worse, that you'll forgive them again. Because they always forgive. Have you ever experienced this? Have you ever been in a situation where you made a serious mistake, but in the impulse of not wanting to fight, you said okay too quickly? And then you were left ruminating inside, feeling that something there hadn't really been resolved. Comment here if this has ever happened to you. Forgiving quickly is a way of keeping quiet. It's like you're screaming inside, stifling your hurt, and putting on a fake smile, all to avoid discomfort. But do you know what really hurts? It's not the other person's mistake. It's having to live with the feeling that your pain wasn't validated, that you had to move on while you were still bleeding. It's tiring. It undermines your self-esteem. And worse, It teaches the other person that you're the type of person who accepts everything. When you say, "I forgive you," too quickly, without even digesting what happened, you are canceling out the most important process. Reflection, the other person understanding what they did, you understanding what you felt, both of you deciding consciously whether it is worth continuing. Without this, forgiveness becomes just a slap on the wound. It doesn't heal, it just hides. And between us, how many times have you forgiven someone who didn't even really apologize? Who just said sorry to get out of trouble? Who justified themselves, blamed the moment, said it wasn't meant, and you swallowed it. And the worst part, deep down, you knew it would happen again, because it always did. Forgiving too quickly is not noble. It is dangerous. It is opening the door to your peace to someone who did not even wipe their feet before entering. It is leaving your dignity in the hands of someone who does not even know how to take care of their own. And the result? You start to wonder why you are always hurt, even though you are so understanding. Maybe that's exactly why. It's not wrong to forgive, but it's a terrible idea to do it in a hurry, without thinking, without evaluating. Forgiveness without awareness becomes permission. And there are people who only understand limits when they feel they've lost the easy access they had to your heart. There comes a time when we need to stop trying to please those who only hurt us and start protecting those who really matter, ourselves. And look, when you stop forgiving too quickly, the game changes. It's not about becoming cold, bitter, or resentful. It's about becoming someone who respects themselves, because those who respect themselves don't ignore the pain just to keep the peace with the other person. Those who respect themselves before forgiving understand whether the other person deserves that forgiveness. If there was true repentance, a change in attitude, awareness of the mistake, and most importantly, if you are ready to take that step and not just give in because you're afraid of losing someone. When you stop forgiving immediately, you send a clear message. I value myself. And that's scary, because there are a lot of people who are used to your automatic "I'm fine," your heart being available 24 hours a day, your unlimited understanding. When you stop delivering this package, these people reveal who they really are. And sometimes, the best answer life can give you is to show you who never deserved to be there. The craziest thing? When you hold on to forgiveness for a while, you gain clarity. Sometimes the pain passes and you realize it didn't even hurt that much. It was just the attachment screaming. Other times, you feel like it hurt more than it should have. And that mistake was just the tip of an iceberg of disrespect that you've been swallowing for a long time. It's in that silence that your strength lies. It's in that time that you discover the value of your self-love. And do you know what comes after that? Freedom. Because contrary to what people say, forgiveness is not about freeing the other person. It is about freeing yourself from the cycle. And for that, time is essential. You need to digest what you experienced, understand what you felt, and choose consciously. Forgiving is a beautiful act, yes, but only when it is done out of choice and not out of fear. If you're tired of being the first to say, "It's okay," tired of pretending you don't care just to keep someone around, then maybe it's time to try the opposite. Take a step back, breathe, listen to yourself. Because there are wounds that only heal when we stop putting band-aids on them and start really caring. And if you've made it this far, it's because some part of you already understands this. Valuing yourself also means knowing the right time to forgive. And sometimes that time is not now. Comment below. Have you ever forgiven someone too quickly and regretted it later? Let's share stories and reflect together. Maybe your experience will help someone who is going through this right now. And if you enjoyed this honest, direct, and straightforward conversation, subscribe to our channel. Every week we talk about decisions that seem right, but are actually a terrible idea. And we help you open your eyes with a little irony, a little indignation, and a lot of truth.